All praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. This lesson is going to be entitled, It's Been a Rigged Game for Too Long, but Yahawah is going to even the playing field, all right, or something along those lines, man. And what I mean by that is that in this world, man, people that are seeking after righteousness have been living in a rigged game, and so people in this world, they know that there's certain things that they can do to get on our nerves, certain things they can do to torment us, right? And that is pretty much always gonna go the same way with how that situation is judged, man, right? So in knowing that people have manipulated and took advantage of the wicked laws that this society has put out there, man, and they've abused that and used it to abuse us, right? But the time's gonna come when all hell breaks loose, that Yahweh's gonna even the playing field, man, and judgment according to righteousness is gonna be shown, man. And these people are gonna end up receiving the judgment through the hands of even wicked people, based on what should have happened to them if they was living under the law, man. Right? It's gonna get like that. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand to fight against another, and swords in the hands. But before I even go into that scripture, I'm going to go back a bit further in this same chapter. In fact, 2 chapter 15 and verse 6. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works have fulfilled. So in this world, because people was able to get away with wickedness, right? They didn't say, you know what, okay, well, our wickedness is at this level. Let's just stay here because all I wanted to be able to do was this little wickedness. No, they'll end up going further with the wickedness. And then they'll end up going further and further. So the LG freaky community, right? Them LG freaks, right? LGBT, LG 3P, all that plus minus division, subtraction, square root, all of them weirdos, right? They have continually kept pushing the boundaries of what their group are doing, man. And they keep adding more and more letters, man, to the point where if there was given enough time, they'd have to start making new letters, man. They'd have to start making new letters. They'd have to put the A upside down. They'd have to reverse letters. You know what I mean? They'd have to tilt letters, and just to add new categories of their wickedness, man. For wickedness have exceeded, polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are filled. Therefore saith Yahweh, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent of righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And we complain, man, to where people are like, man, you're whinges, man. You whinge all the time, man. That's what people think about us. They think, oh, you're whinging, man. Oh, y'all some crybabies. That's what these people think. Oh, you're a whiner, man. You're just complaining because you ain't got the power in your hands to fix the situation yourself. And you're right. They'd be right if they say that. We ain't got the power to fix the situation by our hands and ourselves, man. And that's why we seek the Lord. Whereas you people in this world, you ain't got the power to fix your own situations in your life, right? But you run to Esau to fix it for you, and are prepared to bow down, to bend forward, to bend backwards, to tilt left, tilt right, for whatever he wants you to do, so that he can give you some credits on your account. And when he pushes that CBDC system, man, he's gonna be able to even make more sellouts, man, because he's gonna be able to pull credits and give people money out of nowhere for real. Even more so, because when it comes to the cash that people have, they can still at least print that out from the bank. But when it comes to the CBDC thing, it's all just going to be up in the air. No one ain't never going to see it. No one ain't ever going to really be able to see a physical proof of what their so-called wealth is, man. Where in this world with the people that are about money, Floyd Mayweather and people like that, they pull out their money every now and again. These rappers and all these guys, they pull out the money and they show it. But under the CBDC system, they ain't going to even be able to do that, man. They're just going to be able to show you a screen that can continually change at any point, man, based on whether they're prepared to do as they're told or not. This is Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. And Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So if you find yourself complaining all the time, you're moaning about this world, right? You're angry about this world, you're sickened by the things that you see, man. To the point where you might just be cursing things out, man. To the point where even if you're by yourself, you'll be cursing things out, man. Then you're in good company. Because the people that did that in the times past, they received a spiritual mark, man, of exemption, a Yahawah. And the people that do that in the modern time now, as we're coming to the last days, or as we're in the last days, they're going to receive it too, man. So forget all these people that say, oh, you complaining all the time. Why ain't they complaining? Because they like the wickedness. That's why. Because they like the wickedness, and they think they've found a gap in the market to where they can succeed based on the wickedness that's available to do, man. And to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite, let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Right? Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women. And that's the main thing, man, because a little child in this world, if they do something wrong, they'll get a smack to a certain degree from their father or their mother, man. Right? From their father or their mother. But in this world, women that do wickedness, even some of the time when I watch these police channels, man, and I see how these women be going on drunk as hell, of all nations, man. This one I'm not even gonna aim it necessarily at Eve. All different nations of women, man. They be going acting weird as hell, crazy as hell in front of these police officers, right? And they really don't get judged nowhere near the same way how if we was to teleport, any brother in the truth was to teleport himself into that same situation, what he would have happened to him, man. We'd get so many MMA moves done on us if we acted like how these women act. K1 moves, elbow to the spine, all kind of moves would get put on us, man, if we was to do the things that these women do. And that's what I mean about how it's been a rigged game for so long, man, because women have been taking advantage of the rigged game, right? But eventually Yahawah's gonna even the playing field, man, and all the normal ways of interaction that normally go down, Yahawah's gonna start adding a few new alternative realities, a few new methods of how those situations can end, man. He's gonna start adding in a few new ways how these situations go. So they're not gonna go. Things are gonna stop going the way how these people think that it's gonna go, man. It's gonna stop going that way. 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 9. And therefore saith Yahawah, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them, because there's so many Israelite men that have been jacked up, thrown in jail, right? Like the Israelite woman, man, is basically also a slave master in this world, man. So there's the big Shirley black woman slave trade too, man. There was the Atlantic slave trade, right? But there's also a different variation, man. The big Shirley, LaQuisha, Shaquisha, Shaquanda, Lamisha, right? All of that black woman slave trade too, man. And the so-called woman slave trade in the first place, man, where women are men's slave masters too in this world, man, right? So that they can catch a man in a net of child support and all of these different things, right? To where if that man don't want to bow down to what she's talking about, then she'll give him off to another slave master, which will be Esau, man. And women will say, oh, nah, ain't that. Yes, it is that, man. All you women out there, you take advantage of how you know that how this system works, man. But guess what, man? There's going to come a time where it don't work that way no more. Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 22, how long will thou go about, O backsliding daughter? For Yahawah have created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. And you women have gone around the authority, gone around what men tell you to do, right? And listening to what Esau tells you to do, because ultimately, women ain't no leaders, man. And they're just always going to go with whatever gives them power. Even if it gives them power over something that's going to fail. It's going to fail in the first place. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, because when a man has a child in this world, man, it's not really a blessing. It's a blessing in terms of, okay, Yahawah's decided that he's going to keep that man's lineage going and all of that. But that child could end up growing up to be a wicked Israelite anyway, man, to where you wouldn't want to claim that child, right? And all the brothers that don't have children, that's not something that they should feel down about. It's better that you don't have any, to be honest with you. And doesn't it even say that in the scriptures? That it's better, the day is going to come, which obviously it's going into the past as well, but in the future we can use that too. The days are going to come where it's going to say, blessed are the barren, man. And that's going into women, but it's going to be a blessing for men to not have children too, because that's a less thing for them to worry about when all hell's breaking loose. Now, if a brother's got children, well, that's not, brothers have children out here, man. And that's not a thing to be sad about necessarily, right? But a children becomes an oppressor in this world, man, because the women try and use the children to oppress men, right? As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. So the woman rule over the children in the first place in this world anyway. And they abuse the children to use it against the man. They use the child as a weapon against men, right? But then the women are slaves themselves to Esau, all of them, despite all that feminism talk about how they don't need no man. You do need a man, because Esau is protecting you all, and you know what it is. You all know what it is, and that's why you don't try and come at him the same way you come at the men of your own nation, man. But there's gonna come a time where that rigged game, where you women can do that stuff, comes to an end, man. As for my people, children are their oppressors. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them, right? As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. Oh, my people, which lead thee, which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. And Esau is ultimately the one that's leading them, because he's leading the woman, right? And then the women end up getting left by their men, because the man's like, eventually he's like, man, you know what? Fuck this. I ain't about to be under this. And then the woman will lie to her children and say, oh, your dad didn't want to be around, your dad ain't this, your dad ain't that. And then, as always, as the children start getting older, they realize that actually their mom was a demon. You know what I mean? They realize, actually, you're quite annoying. Actually, I don't even want to be around you. And maybe my dad wasn't what you said he was. Right? Now, in some situations, the men are whatever. The men might be what women say they are. But you women ain't doing as much magical things down here for your children as what you think either, man. You ain't as good as what you think you are, neither. Now, let me get this. Isaiah chapter 14, right? Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 5. Yahawah have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nation in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth, right? Because there's going to come a time where these Edomites that have been doing all these things to people, that people are going to do things to them, and no one's going to step in to save them, man. Whereas in this world, we pretty much know that if something happens to Esau, then the wrath of E is going to come down on that person. But there's going to come a time where people are that ain't going to work, man. Where Esau ain't going to have no power in his hands to stop anything that people want to do to him, man. No, none of his weapons, none of his things that he has are going to work. And it's going to start in the time that we're living in now, man, where people are going to be able to get their hands on him, man. Even themselves are going to do it to themselves. That's the thing about it. Esau is going to hurt Esau. This is Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 9. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 1. The burden of Egypt. Behold, Yahawah rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Because you got all these patriotic Edomites, man, that they think, man, we're gonna slide on these blacks. No, y'all gonna be sliding on each other in a lot of it too, man. Y'all gonna be going up each other's head, man. Because among a lot of you, you've been already doing adultery and all of this wickedness anyway amongst yourselves, man. Esau loves adultery, man. Esau don't have no real brotherhood among themselves as a nation, man. They just hate everyone else more. So as long as they've been keeping their foot on everyone else's necks, right? And they've been able to make wealth from everyone else, then they've been like, well, just stay doing that. But there's going to come a time where everyone else is so broken and they're broken as well that everyone's going to be fighting against each other, man, just to try and find some kind of stableness in their own life, and they ain't going to find it. It's going to keep getting worse and worse. 2nd Ezra chapter 15. This is the scripture that I start with now. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. So destruction's coming for the people that live on earth, man. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Now I read about that again in Isaiah 19 as well. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And that's going to be part of the thing that's going to make this rigged game be shut down, man. Because normally when certain things happen in this world, right, if it's a little nerdy man, he antagonizes a man that's stronger than him. He's running his mouth, talking all this smack. And then all he has to do is get his phone in his hand and start pressing some buttons, right? And then a man, just like the man that he was trying to insult or trying to antagonize, he's going to show up. And because it's his job, and because he's got weapons, he's going to calm the testosterone levels of the man that was mightier than the other man that's the little nerdy guy, man, or the little dweeby guy that's trying to antagonize, man, or the weaker man that's trying to antagonize, or in many cases, the woman that's overstepping her boundaries by running her mouth way too much, man, right? But there's going to come a time where in certain of those situations, the people are going to have had enough, man. And the people that show up are going to be in it too, man. And then women are going to realize that there ain't no 911 thing to call no more, that's not going to work, man. And that's going to get rid of the rigged game of what happens in most cases, man. The woman calls the police, she starts crying, you know? The man calls the police and he knows exactly how to stay calm. He knows exactly the code words to say. He knows exactly the way to speak to the officer to make the officer believe his story instead of the other person's story, even though they're in the wrong. There's going to come a time where the rigged game is set straight, man, and Yahawah is going to start releasing it so that people are going to be able to get out of situations based on the power of their own hand, man. And I'm going to read it right now. Verse 16, 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the cause of their actions shall stand in their power. So if people have got the power to do something, they're going to be able to do it. If they don't have the power to do it, they better run. That's what it's going to be, man. Because in this world, you've got so many people, man, that they carry themselves with a facade, arrogance, and proud and arrogant attitude, man, when they're only doing it because this world is rigged right now. And they understand they can win in most situations because they understand where it's rigged. So they understand where their power lies in the society. So they'll be like, okay, against this person, I'm going to show extreme pride. But against this person, I ain't going to say a damn thing. Which that's what we do as Israelites too, man. But even though we do that sometimes, and we escape the bugged out things that these people want to do to us, right? All that we end up ever really doing a lot of the time is escaping. That it doesn't end up some of the time being a judgment for the person that was trying to do wickedness onto us, man. But Yahawah is going to start making it be to where these people that try and do things against us, hidden or openly, are going to get judged, man. And we're going to know why they got judged. And they're going to know why they got judged. That time's going to come, man. Verse 17, in fact, and the cause of their actions shall stand in their power. Verse 2nd chapter 15 and verse 16 again. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, meaning they ain't going to care about what any official government team has got to say. They ain't going to care about what no government organization's got to say. They ain't going to care about what no MP or what no president's talking about. They're not going to care. The rigged game, people are going to realize it was rigged. And they're going to say, fuck it. I'm going to try and get it by my hand. I'm going to try and get my portion based off me. That's what they're going to say. They're going to say this game was rigged. And it was rigged to benefit only a certain few people, man. They're going to realize that, and it's going to anger them, and they're going to realize that they was lied to. They was going to realize that when it came to the housing market and all that stuff, that there was that it was rigged, and it was rigged to where pretty much they wanted them to not be able to own the house. They wanted them to own nothing and be happy, right? That's the saying that they've made, right? And people are going to say, nah, I don't like that system. And they're going to fight, man. They're just going to fight against any and everything, man. Because they're going to feel betrayed that they submitted to a system that destroyed them and that they've lost so much, and they're going to be trying to fight to get back what they lost, but it's never going to come back. And then when things get really wild, Esau is going to bring out that karagma to try and tame them, man. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go to a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, their houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Men are going to be shook out here, man. There's a lot of men that think that they're tough guys now, right? They go gym and all that. They're getting wham and that. They bang the protein shakes. They're drinking creatine powder and all that, right? They've got traps upon traps. They walk around through city centers and people move out of the way and all that. And they think they're bad. But they don't know that when all hell breaks loose, that people ain't going to care about that no more. And then people are going to wish that they did cardio, because they're going to be doing a whole bunch of running away, man. They're going to be doing a whole bunch of running, man, away from what people are going to have in their minds to do to people like that, man. All these guys that think that they're gangsters and all that, and they roll around knifing people and all this madness that they do, they're going to get it too, man, because they're going to realize that they ain't bad neither. They're wearing their pants halfway down their ass. They're boasting about getting shot and all of this stuff. They're going to realize that they ain't as bad as what they thought, man. A group of angry dads, he's going to punch them guys up, man. A group of just angry fathers are going to beat them kind of guys up. Plumbers, mechanics, which they ain't no people that are weak anyway. But people like that are gonna do away with some of those people, man. And everyone's gonna be on that criminal mindset in that time. Whereas in this civilized, so-called, somewhat more civilized times now, some people ain't on that mindset. But it's a lot harder to try and use intimidation tactics and all of these things when everyone's on that mindset. It's a lot harder to try and act like that when everyone's acting like that, isn't it? Right? When everyone's acting like that, you can't try and play games as much no more, because everyone's prepared to go to the same lengths that you're prepared to go to in that time, man. Whereas right now, certain people are still believing that they're going to pay off mortgages and they're going to own houses and they want to go on holidays and all this stuff, and they could care less about hood mentalities and all of that. But then when they realize that they've lost everything, everyone's going to be on that mentality, man. And then some of you gang guys that can't even really do nothing physical. You don't even train physical in any kind of way. You just eat chip shop food, Dixies, you know what I mean, doner kebabs with fizzy sodas, right? And drive around, man, looking at people all shady with balaclavas on and all that, thinking you're bad. A lot of you people are gonna get it too, man, because you're wicked as hell too. And when everyone's on that mindset, it's a lot harder to try and act like you're bad anymore when everyone's like that. Verse 19, 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. People are not going to care, right? A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. That goes for the male neighbor and the female neighbor, whereas right now, under this rigged game, people will have mercy on people that are weaker than them. But when it goes down in this time, people are going to be like, man, well, if I try and do something to that person over there that's equal strength to me, I could end up receiving injuries that I can't repair because there's no hospitals right now. So I may as well go to the easiest potential target, which is going to be old people, women with single women, with children, single women that are by themselves, you know. That's what they're going to choose. They ain't going to try and choose big men to try and be their targets. They ain't going to do that. But in some cases, when people believe that they outnumber those big men, they're going to try and team up against them, man. A whole bunch of things is going to be going on, and the rigged game of this current world is going to be taken away, and people are going to see a new reality, man, that they're not ready for, which leads me to this next scripture, man, on you women, man. Because some of you women are the main ones that are about to have your realities changed, man. And I think you women out there think that we just make these videos because we just are disgruntled men, right? That the love of our life broke our hearts and we're now just trying to beg for her back. No. These videos get made and these things get spoken about you women because it's true and it's going to happen. And it's prophecy that women are going to be humbled, man. They're going to be humbled. Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear to my speech. And women are at ease. Because women in this world and with how this society has made it, man, they've got the option to work or not to work. Whereas men don't have the option to work or not to work without being called a bum or without being laughed to scorn, right? Even if he potentially had a good reason as why he wasn't working, nobody don't care. If a man is unemployed for a while, nobody don't care. They don't give a S. They don't care at all. And pretty much every single brother in the truth has had time where he's had more money in his pockets or not had more money in his pockets. And really, if they was being truthful, they pretty much get treated the same way either side to a certain degree, man, because when they've got money, more money than they normally have anyway, or a bit more, people are like, well, you're supposed to have that anyway. And then when they don't have it, they're like, well, get it. But then they realize that they don't really get much better treatment, whether they've got money in their pockets or don't have it, man, to a certain degree. Of course, you'll get treated somewhat better when you've got money, but most brothers ain't making that amount that's considered glorious anyway. So nobody don't really care. They don't really care, man. Women have been living at ease because they can try it. They ain't no such thing that gets called in this world as a deadbeat mum. Women literally get their children yanked out of their womb, right? Through surgery by wicked ass doctors. And they don't get called deadbeat mums. But a man that didn't pay for his children, but the child lived, oh, he's the worst thing ever. But all these women that get their children yanked out of them, they ain't nothing wrong with them, is there? When a woman works in McDonald's, she's trying her best. But when a man works in McDonald's, he's a bum. If a man works in a supermarket stacking shelves, he ain't nothing. But if a woman does it, man, she's trying her best. Leave her alone. She's a boss ass queen. And when I've really sat and thought about why these women have got the nerve to say this is the conclusion I've came to. When women look at their money, they're looking at their money based on whether they can take care of themselves, right? But when they look at a man's money, they're looking at the man's money based on whether he can not take care of himself, whether he can take care of them, and whether he can take care of whatever foolishness, extracurricular activities they want to do, man, and whether he can take care of children. So he's 35,000 or whatever the average salary is in a country, right? He's 35,000. She don't look at it the same as her 35,000, because her 35,000, she's only focused on whether it could take care of her. But he's 35,000. She's looking at whether he can take care of her and children that she might not have, or children that she does have that she's bringing from her next geezer, right? And whatever extra bull BS she wants to try and be spending the money on, man. And that's why men have realized that they hate this world, man. Because even the men that do have the money to do these things, then the women end up scamming them, using children, which goes into the Isaiah 3 and 12 scripture. And they use the children to oppress the man because they get child support from them. So they have an incentive to have children that are not going to live with their father. And that's why this world's so disgusting, man. But that's part of the ease that these women have been living in. Verse 10, many days and years shall be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble ye women that are at ease. Be troubled ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the present fields, for the fruitful vines. So all that crying that they've been crying about on TikTok and that order of 20 places I don't want men to take me out on a date, right? They're going to wish that them places were still open when all hell break loose. They're going to pass some of those places, Chick-fil-A's, or what was the other one? Cheesecake Factory. They're going to see abandoned cheesecake factories, and they're going to be running up in there eating sachets of ketchup, man. And wishing that there was someone behind the counter, that there was probably an Ishikaite behind the counter to serve them up some food, man. They're going to be wishing that they could get some of that. But it's not going to be there. Right? It's not going to be there no more, man. All them times of where they can get on TikTok and talk about how men ain't this and men ain't that, men ain't trying to settle down on all this madness. That ain't going to be there. There ain't going to be no internet access to do none of that. In the time that I'm talking about, the real end times, man. When all of this stuff that people are able to do ain't there no more, man. And Lord, will I remember to put images up of this AI art, man, that shows like some of the scenarios that's going to be taking place, man, and some of the things that's going to be taking place to where these people's realities are going to be changed, man, and all the madness that goes on in this world, man, this whole rigged game, man. This whole rigged game of all the wickedness that takes place in this world, man. It's going to end, man. It's definitely going to end, and the people that are going to rise up at the top of that are the men of the elect, and there's plenty more scriptures that I could go into, man. But I'm just going to leave it there, man. Yahawah's going to end this rigged game, man, and hopefully that did something for somebody out there, man, if they hear these words, man, and those scriptures, man. And I'm going to end the lesson there. All praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, double understood the apostles and the elders, a great millstone, and shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. Shalom.